in America, people do go to jail and they're caught. Here they go to jail, but they're on parole forever. So people are not even, अच्छा ठीक है, बीमार हो जाएंगे, अस्पताल, फिर अस्पताल से किसी की शादी में, parole, parole, parole.
हमारा सिस्टम ही ऐसा है.
They considered it a knack because they were getting big money. Everybody can be bought. And these big people, they say, New York Times, Truth, and what rubbish they write. I mean, they don't even get facts right anymore. These are stats which because I'm all the time searching like you. So just now it came out that out of every, and this has been going on for some years, nobody knows. Out of every 100 babies born in Kerala, 66 are Muslim.
It is.
Okay? They have no problems about saying it. UK, I mean, first of all, it's a royalty, it's a monarchy. And then it's also a country where the Church of England, they have no problems with that. In fact, they swear on the Bible.
Yes.
They go to church. They go, I mean, this is all over Europe. But why is it that we are ashamed of being Hindus?
Because they might made us to do that. So one more question. Okay. Why do you think people forget that how worse it was 10 years ago? नमस्कार, मेरा नाम है सुशील सिंह. मैं आज एक किताब है, मोदी मैजिक नाम है उस किताब का. उसकी जो ऑथर हैं आदरणीय अशाली वर्मा जी, उनसे आज मेरी वार्तालाप हुई है, एक चर्चा हुई है. भारत में जब पॉडकास्ट करता हूं मैं, तो कई बार होता है कि पॉडकास्ट में आपको एक स्पेसिफिक तरीके से आपको बात करनी होती है. बट अशाली जी से जब मैं बात कर रहा था तो मुझे ऐसा लगा जैसे कि मैं हर दिशा में, किसी भी दिशा में उनसे बात कर सकता हूं, और उनके पास हर दिशा के, हर तरह के सवालों के शानदार और बढ़िया जवाब थे. एक छोटी सी प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है मेरे साथ में कि कई बार क्या होता है, जब कोई गेस्ट ऐसा होता है जिससे मैं बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड होता हूँ, तो मैं उस गेस्ट को टोक देता हूँ एक दो बार. तो मैं एडवांस में बोलता हूँ कि मैं क्षमा चाहूँगा अगर आपको लगे कि मैंने टोका है उनको. और बहुत ही एक बहुत ही शानदार करियर रहा है. अमेरिका में लगातार रही हैं, यूनाइटेड नेशंस में काम करा है, ऑथर हैं, पत्रकार हैं. जितनी भी आप सोच सकते हैं तारीफ की जाए उतनी कम है. कि इंडियन आर्मी के जनरल प्रेम भगत जी थे, उनकी पुत्री हैं. और कभी प्रेम भगत जी के बारे में आप गूगल करिएगा, आपको पता चलेगा. मैम के बारे में गूगल करिएगा, आपको पता चलेगा. तो जो ये कॉन्वर्सेशन है, ये बहुत ही डीप है, डिटेल्ड है, एंजॉयबल कॉन्वर्सेशन मुझे लगी. उम्मीद है आप लोगों को भी ऐसे ही मजा आएगा. तो आइए बात करते हैं अशाली जी से. सो व्हाट मेड यू लाइक राइट अबाउट magic of Modi and the nudge theory? What exactly was the thought behind it?
See, it was not going to be a book about Modi itself. It was a book on the last 10 years of India, which you can see from when I talk about Congress perfidy. It goes into before they even came in. Like the MOU that Rahul Gandhi signed with the Chinese. So there are lots of things I've picked up which were pre-Modi.
The 2008 MOU between Congress and the Chinese Communist Party to target. Yeah, okay.
So basically, the book started off as being a compilation of some of the stuff I had written, which some people found so hard hitting. And people forget about the past because they're living in the present. So I wanted to remind people that, in the last 10 years, what is the journey we've been through and what happened before and what might happen ahead of time. And the reason I found that I was confident to do it is not because I'm going to write a brilliant book or something. It was not a book as such. I mean, it was a book. It gave you a thing of what happened in a bird's eye view, and it reminded people that we are at this point. Now it's your decision. You understand?
Yeah, absolutely. So one more question. Okay. Why do you think people forget that how worse it was 10 years ago?
Because people have short memories. Because you being from the IT world would know, we're living in a 24/7, like bombarded by news, bombarded by YouTube, bombarded by so much else. So people are now finding little silos to be in, and their silos, whether you're a young person who's, really just wanting to do TikTok videos, or you're want to be an influencer. So those are their silos. So actually, the world does not read so much of print media anymore. And so they go in for these little things, 5 minutes of headline news to get their news.
30 seconds.
Even 30
Instagram
seconds.
reels. Yes.
Instagram, or, Twitter, 10 words, 15 words. So it's news, and what is happening in the world has been compressed to a few words, literally. And it comes into your brain, you think about it, tomorrow there's another thing that's come up. So what had happened in the past, our history, even not history, but even like 5 days ago or 6 months ago, people forget. And nobody's connecting the dots. I wanted to connect the dots. That's why I wrote the book.
Thank you for writing it, because, and let me ask you now, because you mentioned the MOU. Are you aware of like what could have been there in the part of that MOU?
That MOU has never come out. If you ask me whether the BJP knows about it, I don't know, because I'm not personally in touch with any BJP person. But I have connected the dots. I know China very well. I was there. I have worked there from the 90s.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, from my China section, you will know that I've had a lot of something to do with China. And the MOU was definitely signed with giving up things in India. One of the things it hit, we had a very flourishing agarbatti business.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
China wanted to get into all these kind of things made out of bamboo. So the UPA declared bamboo a tree. So all the farmers who were making bamboo is not a tree, it's a shrub. All the people who were making anything out of bamboo knocked out of the market. These are the small scale industries. These were the mom and pop people. Suddenly everything was being imported, agarbatti and all. So we gave up a lot of our advantages in trade. I have horror stories of people who had actually made better products than China, who were taken out of the market because China was dumping stuff. This was definitely part of the MOU.
So
the other thing, let me just tell you the second thing, which is even worse, is that, and this has come out in various people have talked about it, is that we decided we will not build anything on our border with China. We will not build infrastructure.
A.K. Antony famously said in the parliament as well that, if we build, they will come.
This was known that they were playing up to China. They were getting big bucks. If you think that few $100,000 or whatever was in the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation is what they had. No. This was big time. They were flown in a private jet for the Olympics. They had better seats. All the family, Badras, everybody. They had better seats than even the Prime Minister. Chinese bribe big time.
In the US as well.
US, the EU, Australia. Oh, yeah. They have their fingers in it. And it's easy to have done it with Rahul. I mean, why they kept it a secret is because it would destroy them.
There are many things which might destroy them. But we expect that from the guy we voted to the power, right?
Yes. You're right, Sushil.
Yeah. We expect the guy we voted to the power, for him to expose them, because he has that ability to expose them. But over a period of time, especially on Narendra Modi, I have given up in the sense, not negatively but positively. I've started thinking that this guy, he does things, he has his own pace. Because I'm expecting something to happen, not necessarily he'll do it.
Yes.
But it will be done for sure, and you will see that it's done.
Yeah.
So how do you describe the Prime Minister on the the sheer unapologetic approach about Hindu religion. He goes to the temple inaugurations. He sits and prays. He's not somebody who's like, oh, religion is different and politics is different. How do you see that?
I don't find that a problem, because when you live abroad, I mean, you'll see Senate. I mean, uh, America is a Christian country.
It is.
Okay, they have no problems about saying it. UK. I mean, first of all, it's a royalty, it's a monarchy, and then it's also a country where the Church of England is. They have no problems with that. In fact, they swear on the Bible.
Yes.
They go to church. They go, I mean, this is all over Europe. But why is it that we are ashamed of being Hindus?
Because they might made us to do that.
So then the problem is with us, na?
Yeah.
The problem is with us. I mean, the Japanese don't mind going to a Shinto shrine. I mean, it's only like the communists, like the hardcore, who don't believe in religion. But you think of any country in the world, you know, King of Jordan, he'll go to a mosque. I mean,
But
everybody's.
communists do not believe in religion, or they don't believe in any statues. But communists build most statues in the world, and they
do.
throw flower. Have you seen Sitaram Yechuri
Yes.
throwing flower at
No,
this?
let me tell you, China is very different from Sitaram Yechuri. I don't know what kind of a communist
I was
he
talking
is.
to somebody and I said, Chinese communist Desh Bhakt hai, Indian communist China Bhakt hai.
Huh. You got it 100% right. 100%. I mean, there's no question of it. There's no question that our communists are totally sold to China. Totally. And when they even see China going down like it is now, and you see Xi Jinping, and you see all the, I mean, they've always had these horrible, where they kill off people, or they say they're corrupt, 100 million people here, there. It doesn't matter. They don't have value of human life as long as it it serves their purpose. So, I mean, everybody will talk, oh, acha, Kashmir mein kuch ho raha hai against Muslims. Nothing is happening. But Uyghur Muslims, everybody knows 2 million are in concentration camps. They're destroying their mosques. They're saying that Islam is a cancer. They're saying it openly. Do you think anybody is standing up? What is this hypocrisy, Sushil? You tell me.
What about the Muslim countries? And I mean, once Nupur
Exactly.
Sharma said something which is
Yeah.
wrote in Hadith, तो उस पे तो बहुत बवाल हो गया. लेकिन what China does, nobody speaks about it.
Nobody speaks. So isn't this hypocrisy even between people? Like, I'm actually quite stunned by what China is doing. I mean, 2 million people in concentration camps. You're taking out their organs because they're from 28 to 30.
My goodness, that is, and that has been proven.
Proven.
They are taking their organs out.
They are killing them alive. I know somebody who's gone and got an organ from China, an Indian. So, I mean, this is no
Give me one second. तेरे
secret.
को पता है ये बात? चाइना में ह्यूमन बॉडी ऑर्गन्स निकाल के बेच रहे हैं चाइना, और सरकार बेच रही है.
Oh, मार देते हैं
ब्लैक
लोगों.
मार्केट, लिटरली.
It's not a black market, by the way.
अच्छा.
It's accepted. I'm telling you, I have a friend who got a kidney in China. It's not black market.
Acha.
They paid full dollar. Their tissue, everything was matched within seconds. Because they had everybody who is a political prisoner. The first thing is that they get their tissue matching, they get their blood work, everything. So they can match anything in seconds. Literally.
And
you don't
where
have
the
to
hell
live.
are these New York Times and Washington Posts and all these
All sold to
so-called,
China. Do you know that China used to have 3 free page, and you couldn't make out that it was ad or what? On they used in New York Times, in Washington Post, used to pay millions of dollars, 3 page, and it wasn't an ad. It was written almost as if it was from news from China, but they considered it an ad because they were getting big money. Everybody can be bought. And these big people, they say, New York Times, Truth, and what rubbish they write. I mean, they don't even get facts right anymore. They wrote something that when Modi came, I'll never forget this, that more people in India started wearing saris. You tell me, Sushil, w- it, where did they get this information? More Indians are dressing like you, me. In the villages, they've always worn saris. They will continue to wear it. How did they get this? And what does it mean? What is Modi's connection to saris? So this is how absurd.
न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स तो मैंने एक और भी चीज़ देखी थी न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स की. The articles written inside New York Times or Washington Post are usually written by Indians only.
No, even the sari business.
They they're written by Indians only, like people like Akar Patel,
Yes,
who
yes,
have
yes.
only one thing to bash Modi.
Yeah.
These people have made their careers out of it. That boy Dhruv Rathi and all these people.
Yes, I mean, 2 million. How many? 2 million views or something he gets.
He gets like 10 million views on every
Yeah,
video,
but then
8, 9
you
million
see,
views.
I think this is another thing that where people must be doing some hera-fairy with the views also, because I cannot believe it. I cannot believe 10 million people have the time to watch him every single day. Seriously. I mean, where is the even the focus of 10 million people?
But I would also like to tell you that the majority community of any country, they are not as organized or united as the minority communities are.
Oh, yes.
So we can, I mean, you can see that there might
Yeah.
be a concentrated effort
Yeah.
to make sure that his videos are seen by everybody, especially in the minority community.
Yes, of course. You are 100% right. This is happening, and it's it's like an echo chamber. But then you're preaching to the converted.
Yes.
It's like an echo chamber. So people say, Acha, we will, he's saying that, oh, even if something has not happened, he will say it's happened. And then people will put it on Twitter, people will put it here that it's happened. This is the very scary thing that is happening all over the world. And we have to be very careful of it. Very careful.
But because you've been to the States, so let me ask you that United States is at its worst right now.
Yes.
Slow
is.
death. They are dying slowly and
It is
gradually.
true. It is true. And there are too many forces, and there's this huge woke thing that people are getting very upset about. Huh? Okay, you take out Lincoln, burn his statue, take out their statues. They are just going against every single thing that made them. Every Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, whatever they were the founders of America. You cannot just wipe them out of history.
I mean, on top of that, who the hell are you to kick them out? I mean, you are the one who are.
But these are Americans doing it. They've been brainwashed.
No, but what I think in America, it's the way it is in India. What I think is that the white people, especially the right-wing white people, they're not taking things to the street because they are so powerful that if they really take it to the streets, it's going to be a second war which might start in America.
Let me tell you, I have a grandson who's about 19, who's studying in a college there. I worry for him because I said, don't get involved in any of these like protests and all. I don't want him to get involved with anyone because it's dangerous. So I've told him that, but I can tell you that they are brainwashing minds, and they're less and less what you would consider right wing.
I think capitalism has won the Cold War, but communism has won the universities.
You're right, and they were allowed to. You see, this is a very interesting thing. Like, you have communism, Islamism, all these isms. What they do is that they use their power to, they use the democracy, the openness, the free speech to really work against this. So that's a very scary thing. So, human rights, they'll talk about human rights, even though there are no human rights in their countries,
Their own
or
countries,
whatever.
yeah.
But they'll talk about human rights. Oh, by not allowing me to pray on the road, you are curtailing my human rights. The communists will do exactly the same thing. They'll use the system of democracy to destroy it within. They hollow it out. And they will all talk about human rights. They'll all talk about Western values. They'll use all these phrases that they've actually got from the media. And they'll say, free speech? I'm merely saying that I want communism to spread around the world. That's free speech. Why can't I say it? I want everybody. I think Islam is a lovely religion. I want everybody to be. That's my freedom of speech. So they will say these what you call words like human rights, uh, Western values. They'll use the very words the Americans and the Western world coined to hollow out their system against them. Because they're in a democracy, they can speak up.
I was reading Douglas Murray, and he's
Yeah,
been
amazing.
warning everybody how dangerous it's going to be.
Yeah, Strange Death of Europe.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
new book has also come out, which I haven't read actually. The new book I haven't read. But Strange Death of Europe is very scary.
But in some time, I think the white people will be like, we'll keep them in the zoo. That oh, see, these are the white people.
Yes, Sushil, it's very possible because they're not having kids. Huh? They don't even believe in marriage. I mean, that's why other religions can become strong because they give you a sense of, okay, this is our community.
And what do you think about Vivek Ramaswamy? And then we'll come back at India
I think
again.
Vivek is highly, highly intelligent. Very intelligent. He speaks amazingly. He will not become the president. No, not yet. The time for accepting a total Indian, like Barack Obama, whatever, he was half black. He had a white mother, okay? But people like Vivek Ramaswamy, it's going to take time. He will, they make it to the level of senators and congressmen, also in, policymakers and all. But president is a special thing. Even vice president, it could be.
I was listening to one of his conversations when one of the bishops or somebody came and told him that I'll never vote for you, even if I like you,
Yeah.
because you're not Christian. So at least there's a clarity. Okay.
No, see, the problem is that there's clarity within all these groups who are against you. Huh? The problem is that we don't listen. Like Osama bin Laden says, I am going to attack America. Ha ha ha. No. You know? So, I mean, people say it. They actually say it out loud. But nobody takes them seriously till it's done. Oh, why didn't we actually take him seriously? But they also forget that. So before the next attack, people are saying there's going to be attack here, there, whatever. No, no, no. It can never happen. Then come, Arai?
So let me give you an example. Okay, let's talk about the current war in Ukraine and Russia, right? So every newspaper you see in America, oh, this guy is crazy. Putin has lost his
Yeah,
mind.
evil.
He's crazy, and this and that. Oh, then suddenly a guy like me, a skeptic, will say that I think he's used a nuclear weapon. No, I don't think he's going to use. What are we discussing here? You are saying he's crazy. You are saying he's mad. You are saying he's out of control. But he'll not use nuclear. Why would he not use nuclear weapon?
You know why they say that? Because it suits them to say that. They say it because they want to prolong the war. Okay? And people are saying, look, just come on the table, just make a deal. Just do that. Tucker Carlson's
Yes,
interview with
absolutely.
was amazing. So just come out. But they don't want to. They just don't want to come on the table and talk. Putin will give some. Zelensky will give some. Okay, there'll be peace. But then what will happen to all the people who invested in first destroying Ukraine and then building
Then
it up?
rebuilding it.
Then
Rebuilding
it.
is the bigger business, actually.
Bigger business.
Bigger business. Rebuilding.
So then, if you allow Putin to win, then maybe he won't allow you to, all the Halliburtons and everybody else to come in.
So this is an article which was written Times Now, Economic Times as well.
Huh.
It says PM Modi's outreach to Putin helped prevent potential nuclear attack on Ukraine in late
That's
2022.
yes, that's also come up in a big way.
And the CNN reported it.
Yes.
That it was him who asked him not to nuke because
Yeah.
when they took one of the provinces back from Russia and Russia lost many people.
Yes.
So there was a serious discussion within the Russian thing that let's nuke them.
No, it's actually come out. I mean, it's becoming more and more of the real news. And I think Prime Minister Modi had a lot to do with it. They say China might already also have, but I don't think China is the type who will tell anybody not to use nukes.
China is like, you use an.
Yeah.
China is like, I want to rebuild Ukraine.
Yeah.
You use a nuclear weapon, I'll
You
rebuild
use it,
them.
scare the world,
Yeah,
and then we'll be there as your friends. So it was Modi, and he must have convinced it because you see, we have this friendship with Russia, whoever's in power, for the last 80 years, 70 years. And they have come to our rescue when the West turned against us. And they'll always come to our
maybe
rescue.
even the West was colluding to destroy us.
I wouldn't be surprised. See, the West is nobody's friend. And when you live in America, you realize this.
Absolutely.
It's all.
But America is paying the price for it, don't you think? That you have never been anybody's friend.
Huh.
So now you definitely don't have friends.
But you know, again, I come back to why I wrote the book. People forget. You know,
But do you think that the people at the level of prime ministers and presidents and bureaucrats at the top level?
oh yes, many of them. Do you know, my son is married to a Vietnamese who escaped on a boat in 1975. When not 1977, it took her 2 years when Saigon fell. They are best friends now, America and she's has been living in America since she was 5. Very pro-American. People forget.
But in Vietnam, the Hmongs
Huh.
were the one who were pro-Americans. In Vietnam, there were two communities.
Huh.
Hmongs were the one who were pro-Americans, and America took them back to US when they were leaving Vietnam. They took maximum Hmongs back to their country.
No, you know what happened? There were literally boatloads of people running away. I don't know about this. I'm glad you told me this. I'll find out. But as far as I know, that all the South Vietnamese who had anything to do with the army or with the American army had to leave. All of them. I mean, not all of them. They couldn't possibly leave, but as many as could, who could pay a smuggler to take them out, left. So this I know from real first-hand experience, because her mother told me how she was 5 years old, but her mother's still alive. So my daughter-in-law's mother told me what 7 trips they had to take before they finally made it. Sometimes the boat was shot at. Sometimes they had to come back because it was sinking near the shore. So there were a lot of these things, but the boat people are very famous. I mean, there was a huge center in the Philippines where all these refugees were taken and then taken to slowly taken back to America. Now, look at the American. You think of what the Pentagon and all these very bright people you think in America, they have made the same mistake every single time they've gone into war. Vietnam they ran from, Iraq they ran from, Afghanistan they ran from, but they never learn. Why? You tell me why. Don't they read their history? Don't they know? I mean, look at us. We went into Bangladesh. We had a clear cut. Within 24 hours, we were out. We had taken the 93,000 prisoners. My father was in the army. I know. He had to look after them. And clean. We had an exit plan. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. Look at the Americans in Afghanistan. They went to take out the Taliban. 20 years later, $2 trillion later, they've given it back to them on a golden platter. What would you say about this, Sushil? I want to know. What do you say about this?
What I think is that they serve these military-industrial complex, and they want the wars to keep going. That's what I
That's,
personally
I
feel.
mean, to what extent? They also, I mean, they lost blood. They lost their own people, 3,000 of them.
I think the decision makers don't care about that. As far as I feel, for example, Indian government has always cared that Indians should not die. For example, there was a lot of pressure on Vajpayee ji to send Indian soldiers in Afghanistan or Iraq.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure on even Narendra Modi ji to to help them. You remember there was a when Donald
Yes.
Trump came, he was like please help us in
Yeah, boots on the
Afghanistan.
ground. No, we'll never
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that. Because we know the risk. We know what NATO is going through. They had boots on the ground in Afghanistan. So we know the entire complexity in the American mind very well. We don't want to get involved in it. It's not our fight. I mean, when it was our fight, with Pakistan, where were the Americans? Where were they?
They were supporting Pakistan. They
Yeah,
were there, but supporting
exactly.
Pakistan.
So I rest my case. So, there are no permanent friends and there are no permanent enemies. It
But
just
but
goes.
don't you think that when I was making that point that America doesn't have friends, for example, Narendra Modi still can look at even Saudi Arabia
Ah,
if he's in need,
yeah,
and Saudi Arabia can also look at India
yeah,
because these people, we are Israel, biggest
yeah,
example. We are not trying to deal with these countries on a transactional basis.
yeah,
We want to deal with them on a deeper relationship
sure.
basis. Okay.
Yeah,
So America doesn't have that kind of deep relationship with countries, and everybody thinks that, oh, these people will come, they'll try and get some objective that it is
yeah.
happening, then great. Otherwise, they'll move out.
No, but America buys that influence. Na? Like they have bases in Kuwait, in Qatar. They have solid military bases. They have a small one in Iraq. I mean, they would have had a base in Afghanistan had Biden apparently. Bagram was supposed to have a small base there just to see that the ISIS and all don't come up. But, you know, a new policy changed that. So, what I'm trying to say is that, this is what I'm trying to tell you is that I think it was Einstein. Somebody said, you do the same mistake again and again and expect different results, and you're crazy. But America's doing it.
That's a very good point, actually. It was Einstein only who said that,
Was it
yeah,
Einstein?
it was
Because
Einstein.
I actually thought it was Einstein, and then
No,
somebody,
no,
in
it was
fact.
Einstein only.
So, I mean, we don't do that. Just think, Sushil, how clean it was when we came out of Bangladesh. Do you realize how we took out 93,000 people from there and sent them to various places in India? Mostly in near Lucknow and all these areas. It was a huge thing, our lack of prisoners, and all from generals to jawans. But what does America do?
सड़क बनाते बनाते पाकिस्तानी फौज सड़क छाप हो गई. That's what I used to say. सड़क बनाते बनाते पाकिस्तान फौज सड़क छाप हो गई.
हाँ, ठीक है.
And then Indira Gandhi sent them back without even properly negotiating something which she could have shown to the nation, or she
Oh,
might have negotiated something जो उन्होंने बताया नहीं किसी को.
nay, it's very clear. She
Uh,
did not ask for POK. It's very clear. She did not ask for, I am involved with an association looks after war widows. In that, there are 56 widows whose husbands are in prison in Pakistan who are considered missing in action. And there's a book called Missing in Action. Just read it. It'll make your hair stand on end because we got letters from them. We couldn't get them back. They're rotting there. And these widows, they don't know. Am I a widow? Am I married? It's the most painful thing.
horrible, yes.
It's the most painful thing. So you give up 93,000. There are these 56, 57 who we know. We've heard through Red Cross letters and we know we've established it. But we've never got them.
And then one more thing, had I been Indira Gandhi, I would have also negotiated a road to to Europe.
Sharda Peeth.
No, to Europe. Why Sharda Peeth?
Oh,
अरे बाबा मेरे को पूरा रोड चाहिए, इधर से आधा छोड़ दो तुम, आधा मेरे
देखिए
को रोड
हम
रशिया जाना है
बताएंगे
मेरे
if
को.
you, that I think would have been, see, once you get territory, you make your road. You don't make a road in a country where today you're dealing with Bhutto, who's then hanged, and then tomorrow you're dealing with General Ziaul Haq, and your road is bombed to hell. You know what I mean?
No,
I,
what I wanted to tell you is that आधा मांग लो ना उनसे. पीओ के पूरा मांगोगे तो बुरा मान जाएंगे, बोलो आधा दे दो हमें, इसमें से हम रोड लेके जाना चाहते हैं बस.
something we could have done. We had everything for us. People say, oh, there was pressure by the Americans, but then you could
Pressure
always
by the
tell the
American. Why did you
Americans.
make Bangladesh? There was
Yeah,
already
yeah,
pressure by the Americans not to make Bangladesh.
yeah. I
So
mean,
that brings me back again
oh,
to Modi ji. Do you think Modi ji is a leader in 1,000 years?
yes. I've seen a lot of leaders.
How?
Okay. What hasn't he done? I mean, I'm amazed at all the things he thinks about, from Swachh Bharat, which I've written about, to UPI, to things that would have actually could destroy him, like Notbandi. The people who hate him still for that. Opening up the banks to the poor. I mean, I could rattle out a million things. Even during COVID, there were fiber networks being laid. There were roads being built.
I remember, yes.
You know, I mean, what hasn't he thought about? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what he hasn't thought about. I know that he takes his time for certain things, like everybody, the moment he became private, oh, you have to take away Article 370. He did it when he could.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the same thing with a lot of different issues which we don't understand. I mean, like, I know for sure, which I've talked to you about, that if Congress was in power, today there would be president's rule. After what Mamta has done to the Congress, the communists, how he blatant murder, blatant killings of workers. I mean, EDs being bashed up. Anybody who says anything against being bashed up. People being jailed for saying anything. I mean, talk about, she's not running a normal state. I mean, she seems to be like getting more and more like, you know.
She's getting more audacious actually.
Yeah.
Over a period, because since there is no action taken against her,
Yeah.
so her audacity increases every now and then.
It increases.
Yeah.
And then she throws, when she
Even Vijayan is not that audacious actually. If you look at it,
nobody
Vijayan is normal,
Yeah.
but she's the only one who is, who's trying to challenge everybody.
She's got, because she thinks that she has a trigger in her hand where she can actually get millions of people from outside India, give them citizenship. I mean, overnight they get their Aadhaar card, and I mean, it's almost, in fact, they're so perfect that it's almost impossible to tell it from the real one. So it's a huge thing for her.
It's the same thing which is happening in Texas and California border.
Yeah. Same thing. Except we actually have the EVM. Do you know what they have? Ballots. And postal ballots. Arey, postal ballots. You sit at home, somebody comes to you, gives you 7, 8 ballots, and you sign them all. You don't even go and show your face or your ID card. There is no ID card.
पता है तुझे ये बात, सुन ध्यान से क्या बोल रही है मैम. यूएस में वोट कैसे होता है? You can mail the vote.
Yeah.
कि मैंने डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी को वोट कर दिया, मेल कर दो.
नहीं, और एक वोट नहीं, 1000. जैसे कोई आएगा, बोलेगा प्लीज डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी के लिए वोट करना, हाँ, तो उसके साथ 5-6 वोट होंगे, बैलेट्स, और वो बोलेंगे अच्छा हमारा एक नाम, अच्छा वो उसका भी नाम कर दो और उसका भी नाम. So you just tick off these things. I mean, imagine the most. And guess what? It's happened in UK recently.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay.
Same thing.
So Donald Trump, that's what I was thinking when I was listening to Donald Trump and Biden. I was
Yeah.
like, Biden करो या मरो की लड़ाई कर रहा है.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is still taking it lightly.
See, I'll tell you. I think Donald Trump should be aware of the forces against him because Biden has weaponized a lot of people. It's weaponized, not people,
But not Biden, maybe
judiciary. Yeah, the
Barack Obama.
judiciary, certain, the lower class, lower. They say that, oh, these people, the judges, they're also elected there, magistrates and all.
Yeah, yeah.
And they say that Soros money went to give them a lot of money to get elected. So there are a lot of forces working with Biden.
Did you read that interview of George Soros in which he said, I feel like I'm the god?
Yes, and then
My goodness.
he also once said, this was very shocking. Somebody said that when you destroy countries by by playing against their currency and all, what do you feel? He said nothing. I make money. Do you see that? I mean, what a soulless
Why don't
person.
people take him out? Like, there's a huge Mossad is there, even Roy is there, and anybody can take him out if they really want to. Why don't they take him out? Because everybody talks about him. Oh my God, we are scared of him. Why don't you take him out?
The thing is that it's not him now; it's his kids. It's the whole the whole open society, the kind of foundation and the money it's got. You see, when you form an institution where everybody thinks alike, then taking out one 96-year-old man is not going to change it. You got the kids, you got other people. It's all you have to. You have to make the institution penurious. You have to literally go for the jugular. Taking out one man not going to do it. You took out Osama bin Laden. Did it take out terrorism?
No, it's not
No.
possible. Yeah.
So you have to go after the radical
I think MBS will
preachers.
do it.
Yeah.
He's one man who's
Yeah.
going to fix things up.
No, but you see, the thing with MBS is he's a fantastic new, this thing. But then look at the Khomeinis and all that in Iran. So you see, there are a lot of hotspots in the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And even though there are a lot of, like in Dubai and all that, there are people who know what they're fighting against. In the West, and other, आराम से हाँ ठीक है वो चलता है. They don't realize, what communism is, what terrorism, even though they've been hit by it. They've become placid
It's
very
the same.
fast.
It's the same frog theory, right? You put a
Yeah.
frog inside that water
Slowly
and boil
boil
him
it.
slowly. That's what is
No,
happening.
but Sushil,
Uh-huh.
the frog theory didn't work when 9/11 happened. But today, 20 years later, do you know that when after Gaza, there was this thing going around on TikTok of Osama bin Laden, and people were actually showing it to each other. What a great man. Americans, huh? I'm not talking about anybody else. So, again, I talk about the fact that, every time a book like Modi Magic should come, so that people are reminded कि देखिए ये 10 साल पहले हुआ था, ये 20 साल पहले हुआ था. This is what's going to happen ahead. Please don't forget the wood for the trees.
I also think that the radical Muslims have also learned. They have learned कि गरम नहीं करना है, आराम से करना है, धीरे-धीरे करना है. They have learned this कि
No, when they can actually, through politics, through human rights, through values, through this, that, take over Britain, why would they want to do it by storming a palace or something, If under say if you can do it, like the communists, if you can do it from inside, why would you do it? Why would you scare them by having a terror attack?
people say that Islam minus Allah is communism. Do you agree with that?
There are ideologically, they are very similar.
Similar, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
both want to expand.
Yeah.
They both are territorial.
They ideology, that you have you heard of this red green alliance? Green is Islam, red is communism.
No, not yet. Please tell me.
Huge. It's huge. The red green alliance is working in India. It's working in America. It's not only the red. I mean, it's not only the green. I mean, America has a very small population of Muslims. It is the green that is, it is the red, the communists, who are actually showing them the way. They are opening up doors for them because it serves each other. They serve each other. And in the end, like for instance, did you know that in Iran, the communists were big in overthrowing the Shah? They were Iranian communists. When Khomeini came, he killed them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So they live off each other. And when they come to power, they also kill each other.
Yeah, so there is no communist country which they have destroyed every mosque, and there is no Muslim country which did not kill every communist in their countries.
Yes.
But otherwise, they love each other. It's like
So it's an alliance. It's an ideology.
convenient alliance, actually.
No, it's an ideology that feeds off each other. You said it in your words. I never thought of it. They both want to make the world like them. It is so simple.
And they're determined. We are not.
We are so happy in our democracy, liberalism, human values. And we are also, you're creating something. Look what you've created. So we are busy in creating. We're not busy in destroying. Communists have killed more people than any other country, any other system in the world, whether it's Stalin or
Maybe
Mao.
Islam might match them.
Yeah, over
People
800.
killed, people killed on the name of Islam.
Yeah, over 800 years, yes. But since communism has come in the last, say, when it's taken root in Russia and China, these are the two, and now, North Korea is not very different. It's a form of fascism. They call themselves communists, everybody is equal, but when you read something like George Orwell's Animal Farm, you realize everybody is equal, but not that equal.
No, nobody is equal, actually.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
So basically, they're all feeding off, like even, for all it's this thing, Islam says, oh, everybody, we'd have no, caste system, but they do. There's 70, 80 thing. This thing, they're the Ashrafs, and then they're the Pasmandas. So there are everywhere. Human beings do this to themselves. They do have stratas. Caste is a Portuguese name. There were castes in America. They weren't called caste, but it was caste, but it was a caste system, class system. There were the peasants, there were the lords, there were those workers. It was very similar to our Varna. Workers, peasants, the people, traders, and the lords. तो वो एक ही चीज तो है.
But abhi to I don't know if you heard about this California thing where they're trying to blame the Hindu upper caste for every discrimination in the world. They are saying that you started this.
Look, so many that I'm in touch with Kona. It's a website. It's a Twitter thing. Kona is for something for Hindus in America. Okay, and they are doing a lot. Is COHNA.
Okay.
So they are actually going to these are things the woke people and the commies. This is a commie woke thing. Okay. They are going and telling people that, oh, these people are bad. They have the caste system. Yeah.
And since they are the oldest, so they are the one who started it.
They don't know. The Americans are very, very unknowing about everything.
Dumb is a bit.
I didn't want to say dumb, but for America, the world is America.
Yeah, that's why they call the World Football Series. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my clients. I was there in the States, and we went to this Mercedes-Benz Dome in New Orleans to watch the match. Okay, and as I see World Series, I said, how many countries are participating? He was like, no, it's just us. I said, then why the hell would you call it World Series? He was like, I never thought about this, man. He was black. He was like, I never thought about this, man. That's right. I said, yeah. That's
So they don't think about a lot of things. Seriously.
But it was so beautiful in New Orleans at that point in time when the match was there. The city was full of colorful people. It had those streets were
New
filled
Orleans
with beautiful.
is a lovely
beautiful,
city.
beautiful.
But the thing is that, when we say that America might go down, America, it'll take another couple of 100 years. I'll tell you why. It's got the most fabulous virgin land, which they haven't even touched as yet. It probably has lot of minerals. It has a lot of water. It has everything. There are pockets. California might go through a drought and all. It wouldn't. They don't have to let it. If they can pipe oil through, several countries, they can pipe water into California. So it's a question of political will, but the resources it has.
Yeah, yeah.
The
absolutely.
sheer resources. We used to travel all over America now, 15 years there. The resources. And then the best thing they do, they get the best brains. They attract the best brains from all over the world.
But let me ask you another thing. So, Barack Obama was an executive producer along with Michelle Obama for a film called as Leave the World Behind.
Yeah, I heard about it. I haven't seen it.
And that film talks about step by step how you can destroy America. That movie,
Really?
yeah, Leave the World Behind.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah. Maybe on the second day, it was released on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, Netflix. I must see
So
it.
I saw it on the second day, and that movie tells you how you can destroy America step by step.
Good Lord.
And Barack Obama, the ex-president of America, was an executive producer. He used to go on the sets to advise them. What the hell are we? Don't you think this is again a warning in advance?
Of course. Of
Like
course.
9/11 warning was there.
Of course. But there are only few
Look
people
at the audacity
realizing-
of these people. They're warning you that we're going to do it.
I agree. And many people have said that he's more of a communist. He's an anti-colonialist. He took out, apparently, I don't know, he took out Winston Churchill's bust from the Oval Office where it was always.
Good job done by
Yeah, I know.
him. As an Indian, good job
Yeah,
done by
of course, of course. So I'm saying, I'm saying the words anti-colonialist, half communist, or maybe full. Who knows?
Let me tell you another thing. Barack Obama's mother
Huh.
was related to George W. Bush. Are you aware of that?
No. I am not aware of that. Where did you get this?
Arai, I have very good conspiracy theorists who can tell me these stories. That
But true?
it is, yes. But there is a picture of George Bush Senior playing golf along with the father of Barack Hussein Obama, who was a Indonesian guy, I guess.
Oh, no. She had two husbands. One was the African,
Yeah.
Kenyan.
No, not that guy. The one who adopted him.
Oh,
The Indonesian
one from
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So that guy and George W. Bush Senior, they're playing golf, and Barack Obama and George W. Bush, they're sitting inside a cart.
Really?
Yes.
Are you sure it's not
Can you
Photoshop?
play that? Can you play that PBD podcast with the ex-judge of America?
Is this
This
not
guy
a-
was a judge in the Supreme Court, and he was telling these stories, and I was like, damn. And he says that that there are 2-3 families, and he was like, Brad Pitt is also the cousin of these people. So he was like, I can tell you that these people are connected, all of them.
No, but are you sure this is like, wouldn't it have come out because there were so many people who wanted to say that Barack Obama was. Well, first of all, why would George Bush? I mean, they are hardline Republicans.
So you on
This is-
YouTube,
I'll take it.
George Herbert Walker Bush ran the CIA under the Ford administration, and George Herbert Walker Bush was cousin to his wife, Obama's mother, and Obama's mother's father, Obama's maternal grandmother, was first cousin to George Herbert Walker Bush. So the family relationship in there, they all had fun and games from Bush's experience with his CIA connections when he ran the CIA in Lolo Soetoro, and also through his second cousin who was married to him, and also through the father-in-law to Soetoro who was his first cousin. So it's an interesting little filial family
No,
relationship.
but
they-
Obama's
stop
father.
it. Okay, huh?
Obama's father was a Kenyan. Oh, he's right that Obama didn't have any black roots from America.
Yeah.
You know,
So
all his roots.
one of the accountants of my client, he used to say very clearly,
Hmm.
this Obama, and Obama was president then. He said, this Obama guy, who the hell wants him to be the president? He doesn't even know what we go through.
Yeah.
So he always caters to these white people. He always,
Yeah.
taking care of these
Yeah.
white people.
Yeah. No, so this is it. You know, you see, that's why I'm saying that when you said that I'm going to see that movie. Okay.
Leave the
About
world
when,
behind.
what?
Leave the world behind.
Leave the
This
world
movie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to see that movie because I heard about it. People were discussing it. And there's this guy who I listen to sometimes. He's a historian, American historian. And he says, I think his name is Hansen, Patrick Hansen. I'll look it up. And he says that this is the third Obama term, and they are one by one destroying the institutional foundations.
They really want, actually, they really want America to die, honestly speaking. Because there are a lot of lefties in America who don't like America's domination to the world. They don't like it.
Yeah, but it's not for America to disappear. It's America to lose its power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They want America not to be
Yeah.
the hegemon the way America
That's
is.
true. That I would say that even Obama in some of his speeches said, not in black and white like we are saying, but hinted. You know, and he was very, very hung up on, like when he went to Al-Azhar University in Cairo, he said.
By the way, because you're bringing the Cairo connection, so the director of this film is an Egyptian Muslim, who directed
Brotherhood must be a brotherhood.
this film. That's the guy who directed this film, Leave the World Behind.
Listen, I've been there. I've almost been attacked by the Brotherhood, so I know what it's like
My
in the
goodness.
90s. I'm pretty sure that that I know that Obama got Mubarak sacked
Okay.
of Egypt.
Hosni Mubarak.
Yeah, Hosni Mubarak of Egypt.
Okay.
That was done by Obama.
Okay.
And when he went to Al-Azhar University, he made sure that the Muslim Brotherhood people were there. You know, Morsi's people. Muhammad Morsi took over after.
Muhammad Mursi,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, and then he also said in that, which actually I wrote about, but I didn't put it in my book, that, the greatest civilization on earth, we gave computers, we gave the numerals, we gave algebra, was the Islamic civilization. So I said, what is he talking about? We gave the zero, we gave the numbers. I was really upset and I wrote about it. I said, how could he just leave out? I mean, what Islam did, what they did is that they had in Baghdad people who translated our works.
Absolutely.
And the people who translated, they actually wrote from Al-Hind.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But here are these Western people taking it out of context, even though the Arabs have done it right, and saying that they gave us everything. I just don't know how to, and my kids in America, they also thought it. I think till recently maybe. But even recently, that thing about that the Arabs gave us numerals, the Arabs gave us a zero, the Arabs made it possible for us to have computers today, started with Obama. It's on Wikipedia. It's everywhere. You look it up. It makes me mad. I mean, even the Arabs didn't take the, full this thing for it. They said, no, the Indians, we got this translation from Indian works. We know about Aryabhatta. We know about all these people, Brahmagupta. We know about them. They've come in our Vedas much before, the Islamic
But don't you think
civilization was so.
There is a very calculated efforts to make sure that Indians do not get their place in the history the way they should get
Of
it.
course. Why do you think they said Sanskrit, Indo-European language? What part of we were the original language? We have a whole Ved, Sare Gama Pada Nita. They said do re mi fa sol la tito. I mean, come on, Sushil, where are we?
That's the
It's-
funniest thing I've ever heard
It
when I heard that. I was like, what?
it started with our Ved, culture, dance, music. It was all in our Vedas. It was adopted. There was no Aryan invasion theory. We went out. We spread the word. We gave them the language. Sanskrit is the oldest language in the world. They would like that. How could brown people do it? How could they?
Because the history for them, right?
God.
Like Miss Thapar and all, all
How
these
we
people.
sold ourselves. You know, we really don't deserve it. I mean, when you think of somebody coming with on horseback, you know, okay, 100, okay, 1,000 people coming on horseback, all through the passes and everything, and just going, taking over. And Prithviraj Chauhan, sorry, we beat you. Go, don't do this again. Again. I mean, for God's sake.
But we did the same thing with Pakistan before Modi ji. We
Of
were like,
course.
don't slap me again.
Yeah.
Don't slap me again. I'm telling you, don't slap me again. So it's like this huge man and small kid, he's kicking him in the nuts and he's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey,
So-
do you know something? Pakistan had somebody high up in the Congress government during 26/11.
Okay.
There's a book called The Siege. It's written by two Britishers, British who used to journalists. They started writing books, and their fascination was terrorism that emanated from this area. So they wrote 4 or 5 books. The Siege is a book you have to read, because in that book they actually go and interview, and they see LET, Lakshari Taiba. They interview people from there. They actually go to Murika, where they say they have an office which would, I mean, they have a setup with sat phones and all, which is more advanced than even the army lot. And in that book, they have one person who said, help them in India. And the person's name was Honeybee. Nobody has been able to find out who that Honeybee was. But that person had the highest clearance and could give maps and everything, had the highest clearance. So why do you think nothing was done after 26/11? Where have we reached? But if you read this book, eyes will pop out. Nobody, I recommend it to
There are
everybody.
books which were written that this is done by RSS.
Oh, that
There
was
are book-
Digvijay Singh. Oh, I've written about this.
A.R. Antule and
Saffron
Digvijay Singh.
Terror, I've written about this. I mean, how could they do it? Were they mad? I mean, I really think Digvijay Singh is a Pakistani plant, along with that Mani Shankar Iyer.
If you see an African American or somebody from Bahamas, they are so stylish.
Yeah.
The way they speak, you know, did you hear that song, Mr. Fantastic, something like that? Did you hear that song, Mr. Lova Lova?
Yeah, I have
I mean,
heard it.
this guy is like, I'm like,
They-
कहाँ से
they
आया
have
तेरे में इतना
style.
style,
They have
यार?
style. They have style. You know who I met?
Uh-huh.
And I just fell. I was always in love with all time Harry Belafonte.
Okay.
Okay, he had come to the UN when I was working there. And I saw him and I started singing his old songs, you know. And I want to go home. He looked at me and he picked me up and swung me around. And I said, my days mate, what a good looking child. Oof. He was devastatingly good looking.
Yeah,
And he had that little throaty voice.
Yeah,
He said, my days made. I wish I had a smartphone and I could have taken.
But this guy, what's his name? This another guy who sang songs on Bhagwan Shiva later on in his life. It's very famous.
Not, no, where was it?
Bob
Which-
Marley.
Oh, Bob. Oh, I loved him.
Bob Marley used to sing song of Bhagwan Shiva. Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
I'll-
I've,
I'll
read,
give
I've
you.
heard all his songs.
No, I'll show you Bob Marley singing songs. He
Just
came
send
to
it to
India.
me. Here's
He
my
lived
email.
in India for years and he became a Bhagwan Shiva Bhakt.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. So Bob Marley.
My God, he's so famous and I love his beats.
Yeah. Bob Marley Shiva song. See, I'll show you.
Okay.
And he was a Hindu, by the way, when he died. He converted to Hinduism when he died.
We never do this. But every person who converts to Islam, like Cat Stevens, they will play it up. We never do it.
But that's why we'll survive in a longer run. We are not show offs.
I don't know. You know, the thing is,
Stop it, Sunny.
sometimes I'm going to hear all these because now you give it, it's so easy to find.
Bob
You
Marley
know-
Shiva songs.
Sushil, we have to be very careful. We cannot be confident that we'll survive. I've traveled in India also. Bengal is very, very on the edge.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, seriously. Tamil Nadu. I went there and I was staying with some friends who we'd known 40 years ago because we were posted there. My husband was with Tatas.
Okay.
That's why we were posted to New York. So he actually worked with Ratan Tata. I mean, for him on the board. I cannot tell you how the people we knew, some were Christians, Syrian Christians, some were, they had become evangelists, the wives especially, born again Christians, and they were literally very famous, very well-to-do family, trying to by force, whatever, by money, whatever, change Hindus into Christianity. Same thing is happening with the Tablighi people in Islam. So what I'm trying to tell you is 40-50% of the population of Tamil Nadu, including Hindus by the way,
Yes, yes.
do not believe.
But let me also tell you, did you see when Narendra Modi went to Tamil Nadu recently?
Yes,
Have you seen the reaction on the street?
it was amazing.
It was like
Some film star had
amazing.
come.
Yeah, not film star. The way people were bowing down to him, the old people were calling their wives and saying that's the PM
I
who's
know,
going.
I saw that, but it's a small thing for it's in a place, a time where there are people who are very involved who come, but you have to travel around to see what are the pockets where it's becoming worse and worse. And let me tell you, if there's no political, forget about the political will. If the head or if the chief minister and everybody else says, I mean, Sanatan Dharma is like leprosy, and I mean, come on, could you say that about any religion and get away with it? Please tell me. Please tell me why we're not suing the guy.
No, but he's already, the FIRs are launched.
Yeah, but
against
what
him.
is an FIR? I mean, if you had said that about any religion, it would be. What is an FIR? Sushil, please tell me. You're young. You have positive vibes. What is an FIR? I mean, it took 25 years to get Lalu Prasad into some sort of jail, which he's out of.
Yeah, he's
I
out.
mean, Subramaniam Swamy would have told you the National Herald case. When I met him at a book launch, it was 8 years ago. He said they'll be definitely be in. They were on bail. Sonia and Raji. Sorry, Rahul.
Rahul.
National Herald case, jail. Where? What is it? Is it our system? He's fighting, I know. But it's been forever.
Yeah.
So you tell me, does it give you a lot of you guys are going to inherit the world. I've got 10 years left. I want to really ask you, do you worry about this? Why are these people allowed to get away? One thing I'll tell you, in America, people do go to jail and they're caught. Here they go to jail, but they're on parole forever. So people are not even, अच्छा ठीक है, बीमार हो जाएंगे, फिर अस्पताल से किसी की शादी में, parole.
हमारा सिस्टम ही ऐसा है. बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हमारे जो कोर्ट्स हैं वो दे आर मोर इंटरेस्टेड इन कीपिंग पीपल आउट, दे डोंट
Yeah,
वांट पीपल टू गो टू जेल. हमारे डेथ सेंटेंस पे कोई नहीं, अमेरिका में आज भी बहुत सारे लोग डेथ सेंटेंस पे हैं, बहुत सारे लोग हैं.
हम तो वो निर्भया केस का भी उनका कुछ हुआ. I think one maybe or two.
No, one guy was killed inside jail, and then
One was hanged.
the guy who was most brutal,
Huh.
and he was a Muslim, and this guy who
He was the young guy.
young guy.
Yeah.
There was a
He's
doubt
out.
if he was 18 or 17.
Yeah.
So there were certificate issues, but he was still treated like a minor.
Yes.
And he left, and now the Delhi government gave him a shop of a दर्जी शॉप कि अब आपने रेप कर लिया, मर्डर कर लिया, अब आप दर्जी की दुकान चलाएं और अपना जीवन व्यतीत
I
करें.
cannot believe it.
Good job done by him. Allegedly, like I'm not sure. Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, you can take out all the. No, but it's true. I mean, Kejriwal, I mean, Amantullah Khan and all. Once we got lost there. And I said, where have we come? In that, what is that place called? It's called. Where,
Jamia Hamdard.
Yeah. Have you ever been there?
Yeah,
Please do.
yeah, I have been there. But let me tell you one thing, okay? I have visited in the worst areas of Muslims.
Huh.
I have never been scared. Maybe it's the way I've been brought up.
It's not. You
Huh.
don't feel scared.
Uh-huh.
You just feel that this is a different world because
This is a different world. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
you don't feel scared.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I am quite.
And don't you think that this is such a sad thing for any country, that in that country there are pockets
No,
which
it's very sad. I mean, not even that. South Delhi, Nizamuddin. I mean, there are areas in Nizamuddin which you can go to. Nobody will do anything to you. They're fine. But they don't look like they're part of the, the, what do you call it? The hodgepodge of India. It is true.
the lefties always loony lefties, they always cry the Muslims are living in ghettos. No, they're not living
No,
in
they
ghettos.
want to.
No, they want to. On top of that, वो ghetto बनाते ही सरकारी जमीन पे है,
Huh.
क्योंकि ghetto कहीं और नहीं बनता, वो सरकारी जमीन पे ही ghetto बनता है.
Or Waqf land. What is? Who gave away Pakistan, East and West, and then told everybody else, okay, if you stay here, we'll also give you any property. We'll also give you Waqf, which you Mughals, whatever they occupied.
So in the same way, why can't Rajputs get their kingdoms back?
You tell me, because they're not a minority. I mean, do you consider 220 or 50 million people a minority in any country? They make up, I mean, it's larger than any country.
225, yeah, 220 million
Look,
people.
we haven't had a census for
Yeah.
15 years.
So yeah, absolutely.
You don't know. You don't know.
Maybe 350 million people, 400 million people.
We don't know. I'll tell you something. These are stats which because I'm all the time searching like you. So just now it came out that out of every, and this has been going on for some years, nobody knows. Out of every 100 babies born in Kerala, 66 are Muslim. I rest my case. I rest my case. The same with, probably, it would be the same in Bengal. There are certain pockets of Bengal where there are 90% Muslims.
So would you ask him, the Pradhan Mantri, this question that कि क्यों हो रहा है ये सब?
I have thought about this. I don't know the Prime Minister. I've never met him. But I have a feeling he really wants India to come to a stage where we are so developed, where we've got, like China. We are rich and developed. And then people who want, who say that we don't want India, we, prefer Pakistan, then you can actually take care of them.
So let me give you a skeptic's point of view.
हाँ.
अभी क्या है कि चक्कू छुरे हैं लोगों के पास,
हाँ.
है ना?
हाँ.
और मे बी एक गन होगी सबके पास. आप बोल रहे हो डेवलप हो जाओ, फिर हम अल्ट्रा मशीन गन से लड़ेंगे. Because civil war is imminent. Believe me when I say that. तो आप क्या कह रहे हो?
अभी नहीं हो सकता है.
हाँ.
We are more. And we have a very strong state, by the way.
We do have, but
Yeah.
civil war के लिए state की जरूरत नहीं होती. Civil war के लिए सिर्फ लोगों की जरूरत होती है. Civil war is not, it's...
You know the reason why I think we won't? Huh? Because we've been talking about a revolution. Like before, it wasn't about, oh, there'll be a revolution because of the disparity. है ना? We overcame that to some extent. Of course, there's still disparity. Who says? But at least people are not starving. Okay. So, and Indians are basically, we have that karma, dharma, next life thing. So we are fatalist. We're not like that fatalistic as other people. I have a feeling that, and you could argue with me, that over 90% of the Muslims in India, but we also meet on a day, whatever it is, for whatever repairs, this, that, shops, whatever. They're pretty content living here. They can go to the mosque. I'm not sure that they have, all of them want to, and they can see what's happening. They're very alert, some of them, and they can see what's happening in Pakistan and Bangladesh. They think they have it good. Now, I'm not talking about the 10% of commies, of, other people who are, we're talking about the red, green crescent kind of a thing, red, green alliance. There are definitely communists who are trying to get the radical elements and work with them. This is what the DMK and all are doing, by just saying, Hinduism is leprosy, cancer, whatever shit you call it. So, so you tell me. Now, I've given you, and I say that a lot of them are quite happy.
But let me ask you another thing. The problem is, if you look at 1947,
Yeah.
When there was a clash between Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs.
Yeah.
So if you look at the number of deaths were more of Muslims, but the number of property and value lost of more of Hindus and Sikhs.
Yes, of course.
तो मुसलमान अपनी जान गंवा देगा, प्रॉपर्टी पे कब्जा करना चाहता है वो कुछ भी करके. तो इसी सवाल को अगर आप आगे बढ़ाएंगे तो आपको ये एहसास होगा कि भैया कि आप जो ये हिंदुओं के मन में है ना कि प्रॉस्पेरिटी इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, दैट्स वाई बच्चे दो ही अच्छे.
हाँ.
प्रॉस्पेरिटी ही ज्यादा जरूरी है, इसलिए बच्चे दो ही अच्छे. तो डोंट यू थिंक दैट दे आर जस्ट डिगिंग देयर ओन ग्रेव्स?
We are. And I'll tell you, the demographic thing is very worrying. That is what I've been talking about. But there's a huge class system, huge caste, class, whatever you call it, between the Ashrafis and the Pasmandas.
But the Azlaf and Arzals are being fooled by Ashrafs by saying राज किया है हमने इस देश पे, राज किया है हमने इस देश पे.
पर देखिए, the point is that, अच्छा, tell me one thing, why hasn't Owaisi got more traction? वो क्या बोलता है अकबरुद्दीन, और वो कितना बोलता है? Why hasn't he had much more traction? Tell me. नहीं, I honestly want to ask you.
I think even this time in Telangana they got 2.2% vote.
No, but just see, Telangana, I've been there. I have a friend there. We've lived there for 2 years in Hyderabad. Sanjay was posted there, my husband. I'm telling you, there's quite a sizable Muslim population. We all know that. It was part of the Nizam's place, okay? I don't know. You tell me why Owaisi is not like...
Not a national leader.
Yes, no. I mean, he's not even a lead. As you say, even in Telangana, he's got a pocket. Literally,
absolutely.
Charminar type, that area. Why hasn't his message, which you can see it on mainstream media. His message goes on mainstream media.
Absolutely.
Okay? He's had discussions and all. He comes
I've spoken to him.
I'm sure.
On phone, I've spoken to him on phone.
So, he comes to...
but honestly speaking, a thorough gentleman. When he speaks on the phone, a thorough gentleman.
I'm telling you, this is a lot of what he does and says is...
Yes.
Hela, he has a
very respectful guy. He'll speak
not
to
his brother,
to me. His brother is... yeah.
But I'll tell you, Owaisi, I mean, you've seen him with discussions and arguments with Subramaniam Swami.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, So, but he hasn't been able to make an impact anywhere. You know, many
Recently, like last election, they won few seats in Maharashtra. So I was like, okay, maybe they'll go national.
No.
But वो फिर से again उनका वही हाल हो गया, you know, फिर से वही.
No. So, you tell me, which is, see, human beings, when they are, I'll tell you, there's more of a problem for with Muslims, like, what do you call it, migrant Muslim population in Germany, Sweden, UK, all these places. Okay. In our case, they're not, 90% of not are not migrant. They've lived here for centuries.
Yes,
They
yes.
are probably, and a lot of them know they're converted.
Not a lot of, maybe all of them know they are converted.
No.
In
I mean,
Pakistan, there is a community called as Arai.
huh,
And they were like, Arais are all from Arab, okay?
I know.
And they got their DNA test done and they found out, no, you're not at all Arab. You were like,
No, they know it. See, in their subconscious, they won't admit it. But in their subconscious, they know it. I mean, let me tell you, a Pasmanda Muslim will never come and say, hum Babur ke saath aaye. Will never. But I have friends who will say openly, you know, we can trace ourselves 20 generations from Babur. I said, how? You don't look anything like Babur. You know, he would have looked like a Hun or a Mongol or
yeah.
something.
And
like that.
also like Babur was an open gay.
Well, it is true.
Yeah, he
It
was
is
an
true.
open gay.
Yeah, that
Yeah, yeah.
Babri Masjid.
Yeah, Babri Masjid was made in the name of that Babri boy.
Yeah,
Babri Nanjiani or something, right? Yeah. It was made on his
yes,
name.
we know that.
Yeah.
No, but then he also had to. I don't know whether he he had kids because the next generation.
He was an Indian gay. Indian gay men always have kids with their wives and they are gay as well.
No, on that I rest my point. These people, Babur hated India. He went and died in Kabul or something. Right? So the others, they might have done a lot. They did a lot of damage to the Hindus. Okay,
Yeah.
they converted massively. They killed massively. But then in the end, somehow they became partially Indian. What do you think?
Yeah, but see the only problem with a Muslim is that the moment you talk about your rights,
Oh,
you suddenly become their enemy.
yeah.
You're just speaking about your rights कि
Yeah.
नहीं हमें भी भगवान राम पे
Huh.
हमें भी पूजा करने का अधिकार है. So what Muslim does is he'll tell you that he'll quote you this Allama Iqbal that oh Ram was Imam Hind and I'm like Ram was the god for me and you're making him Imam and then you want me to take that consolation prize from you.
It's like Deoband.
Yeah.
Those guys, the heads of Deoband, what is his name? Madani and all. They say, actually, Adam, the original man was, what? Manu.
No, but no. They have started this new thing.
Yeah.
From the day the MBS stopped funding.
Yeah.
तो अभी क्या है जैसे एमबीएस के पैसे आने बंद हो गए तो उन्होंने डिसाइड किया हम इंडिजिनस बन जाते हैं फटाफट
हाँ.
क्योंकि वो फायदेमंद है तो मौलाना मदनी स्टार्टेड दिस नॉनसेंस की आदम सल्ले अल सले सलाम आई डोंट नो सॉरी आई डोंट नो हाउ टू से
Yeah, I don't know. How to
वो
say.
आए हैं वो हिंदुस्तान ही आए थे पहले और वहीं से वो पत्थर लेके वहां गए
कहाँ आए हिंदुस्तान में? He's a fiction.
So
Adam is a
Babur pe I have a question for you. Okay. So Mr. Natwar Lal in his book One Life is Not Enough. He writes that when Indira visited Afghanistan, she made time and asked her counterpart to
I've
arrange
read this book.
for her visit to Babur's grave. Okay.
Yeah.
तो मैं जानना चाहूंगा आपसे विनम्रता के साथ में क्या कनेक्शन है बाबर के साथ हमारे गांधीज का हमारे प्यारे
We're
गांधी
shrouded in history. You're asking me a thing where there's so much swirling around. I mean, we know Nehru. अच्छा उसके पहले क्या था? अच्छा ये आए थे. इनका नाम कुछ और था. The great grandfather, not even the grandfather. Acha kya tha? Then somebody will say this, somebody will say this, then they'll say, acha 1857 happened, they were killing everybody. And this guy was living by the river, Neher. He said Nehru.
And he was a Kotwal in Delhi.
Yes.
Again, which is not possible if you are living in the Mughal era. You can't be Kotwal if your name is Nehri, whatever.
No. So, but,
And there is no Nehru apart from him in this entire country.
oh, that much I didn't know. No.
Are there
Nehrus
other
are,
Nehrus?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
They've grown. There are Nehrus. There are Nehrus. There are lots of Nehrus.
Okay.
I mean, they're not a lot. But
Acha.
you're right. It's not exactly a typically Kashmiri name like Kaul and Bhat and all that.
हाँ.
You're right.
तो मैं वही जानना चाहता हूँ, सुना है उसके पहले शायद वो भी गए थे, जवाहरलाल भी गए थे शायद श्योर नहीं हूँ मैं, इंदिरा जी भी गए, फिर राहुल गांधी जी भी गए 2005 में.
Rahul, what he believes in and what he doesn't believe in is honestly not worth discussing.
कि कवि को आप प्रधानमंत्री मत बनाओ, वो देश की लगा देगा.
Huh. No, like that. Even this one says he's a poet. Prime Minister Modi has written
No, he's a
poems.
bad poet.
I have read his poems.
I have read his poem. He's a very bad poet.
But he makes an attempt.
हाँ,
Probably it
तो
was hard.
पोएट तो नहीं है ना, बैड पोएट तो ठीक है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर ठीक निकलेगा.
So,
Had he been a good poet, तब खतरा ज्यादा था.
now you see the difference. No, when I was in America, when I was working for the UN, I happened to work for there was this thing which all these big development aid, all these very big aid companies follow. It's called the Human Development Report.
जी जी.
And it is a UNDP thing, and it tells you that you cannot, this will be interest you cannot judge the development of a country by just its GDP. You have to have other factors, maternal mortality,
Absolutely.
education, like human rights, freedom, all these things. So this was and it was started by a Pakistani called Mehboob-ul Haq, Dr.
Okay.
Mehboob-ul Haq.
Okay.
He gave me a big, when I was working in America and I was doing films for UNDP and all, he used to call me his favorite journalist. Okay. So one day I told him, we used to have arguments. Like I used to come back from China, I used to say, oh, they're developing so fast, maybe their system is better. They can move out a slum overnight, and then bring up. No. And we used to, all his, actually a lot of his interviews are on my website.
Okay.
So I told him once, I said, tell me, Dr. Haq, you are such a and he was also a minister before he went into the world UN, before he went abroad. He was doing a short thing as some minister, which I don't know about, in Pakistan. I said, you have all the right. You make a very good argument. We debate. You make a very good argument, and I wish we had somebody who was really that thoughtful and brilliant like you. So he says, I have a friend who will probably be your Prime Minister one day. He'll be very good. I said, what's his name? He says, Dr. Manmohan Singh. So I said, oh, I must read up all about him. Now, that time, this was in the 90s. So Manmohan Singh came in much later. But when he came to Thailand, he was the finance. No. He came to Thailand when he became Prime Minister. Okay. So he came, just like Vajpayee, to meet all the people.
Diaspora.
Was invited, diaspora. So and he did something which I've not seen anybody else do, apart from Modi actually. He went and met every single person. Usually they address them, I mean, 300 log hai, but he wanted to shake hands, so we stood in a line. So when I came next to him, I said, I must tell you that your friend who I worked for said that one day you would be the Prime Minister of India. And he spoke very highly. So he says, who is this? So I said, Dr. Mehboob ul Haq. He said, yes. He was a very close friend. We were both in development and economics and all that. So he came on time. He was very proper. But he didn't have a spine.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Whereas Vajpayee, wheeling, dealing, he got along with everybody. He would rescue Rahul, he would rescue who's who. He would probably give Sitaram Yechuri a medal
Yeah.
for best performing.
But don't you think Modi has changed the very thought process of Indian politics?
Oh, yes.
Modi has told everybody that it's the power which speaks, no friendships. You will listen to me because I am, मेरे पास डंडा है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है नरेंद्र मोदी ने स्पेशली लेफ्ट वालों को, मीडिया वालों को, लेफ्टिस्ट मीडिया को,
उन्होंने ऐसे कभी नहीं किया. I mean, look, we started off with this. If the Congress was in power, Mamta would have been gone 5 years ago. He waits till, and that is a grouse I have. You also.
absolutely.
I mean, why? But he does it because I don't know whether it's instinct or he times himself. Like 370 was the perfect time. You know, I went up 1 month after 370 was abolished. Because all the newspapers were saying, I got married in Kashmir, by the way.
Okay.
My father was the Northern Army commander. So
Okay,
he started. So I went up to Kashmir 1 month later. There's a friend of mine who has a home there, a Hindu. So she says, Ashi, you come, but I won't go in the car with you. You go with the driver and you spend the whole day out. Now, why did I want to go to Kashmir then? It was, there was a lot of harta. I mean, there was no kind of stone throwing or anything. It was very peaceful. For the first time, it was very peaceful.
That's scary peaceful.
It wasn't even scary. It was
Okay.
made out to be.
Okay.
The media said, gas nahi mil raha hai, there's no medicine, people are starving. You know how they play up these things? So I said, I must see for myself. Do you know, when I landed in the airport, there must have been 200-300 people there who were all dressed in this white. They were Hajis. I saw no barriers. This is 1 month later from the place I went to. And I said, there must be heavy security outside because once the airport was, I think, attacked, there must be heavy security outside the airport. No security. There were people. There were people with guns and all, but they were not like barricades. You know what you'd expect.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they said, the people can't come into town. So I went to every hospital I visited, 3 big ones. There was this Pant hospital and 2 others. And I went and talked to the head of the hospital. I said, hum NGO hai. I didn't carry, they were very suspicious of writers and journalists. So I didn't carry a phone. I didn't I didn't want to take photographs. So I said, hum NGO hai, Bombay se. I really want to know if you're getting medicines. And the head of the hospital, they're called the administrator. She said, what are you talking of? Of course, we're getting medicines. I said, Magar, ye media mein likha hai, Delhi and Bombay mein, ki aapko kuch. Then she says, of course, we are going to see our wards. So main gayi wahan. I went to every ward, the women's ward, the children's ward. It was normal. In fact, once this NGO, they came to complain to me. They said that actually, this is supposed to be free, but they're charging us. And it's been happening for 10 years. So there was, of course, that little bit going on, which goes on. And they tell us to buy the medicine, because medicine khatam ho gaya, from the shop outside when it's available. This is the thing that you saw in India also. अच्छा मेडिसिन खत्म हो गया.
हाँ बिल्कुल. सफदरजंग में अभी भी होता है ये.
तो देखिए, I rest my case. So imagine I did all this in the 3-4 days I was there. I went on a shikara. I went to every place. Acha, this is very funny. So there's the Gupkar Road. I'm not Gupkar, that main road. I forget the name. Where there are all the big shops. Now they had they they were so upset about 370 that they had half closed. I mean, just see the way they think, huh? Half closed. So I said, I said, I want to go inside one of these half closed shops. Because why is the shutter up a little bit? So my friend said, okay, let's stop. So we stopped. And then I got up and the guy came. Somebody was looking from inside. He said, आपको क्या चाहिए? So I said, मिठाई. It was a मिठाई का दुकान. And I said, अच्छा आधा बंद है, कुछ तो ले लेंगे. शायद एक लड्डू मिल जाएगा कुछ. I cannot tell you, Sushil. They opened it for me and my friend. It was flourish. There was so much mithai. There was so much active. I said, बाहर तो बंद है. पीछे से, they were selling everything. And they were getting orders. उनका कोई त्योहार होता है या जो भी है. They were full. 100%. I said, ये क्या चाल है? You know, बाहर से बोल रहे हैं, we're not making money. पीछे से, they're selling everything they can. He was a well-to-do man. And he'd been abroad. And he says, it's very bad. A young man, younger than you. I think he was in his 20s, just come back. Flourishing shop. His parents were rich. I've been abroad, I've been to America, I've come back. I think this is very wrong. I said, okay. I said, what do you want? He says, we want to be separate. We want to be Kashmiri, you know, our own. So I said, okay, but then you don't want to be in with India? No. You want to be with? No. So I said, okay, then what if China comes in and takes you over? He says, you think that's going to be that easy? I said, yeah, how many of you have guns and tanks and aeroplanes? He says, one of you will protect us. I said, acha, ye bhi chahiye, wo bhi chahiye. That's it.
In my office, Kashmiris work, okay? So there were 4 or 5 Kashmiris. And when we spoke to them, when we met them, when we understood about them, we came to know that these people have generational wealth. Not very rich,
no.
But apple के बागान हैं, dry fruits हैं. तो मैंने compare करा कि हमारे यहाँ बिहार से भी लोग आते हैं, हमारे यहाँ ईस्टर्न यूपी से भी आते हैं.
100% richer.
That's what I'm saying. कि इतनी तकलीफ में तुम जिंदगी बिता रहे हो और सबसे अमीर तुम ही लोग हो.
You don't know this. I mean, you ask them, they get basmati rice for half the price. You don't know how spoilt they are. For every 600 rupees that the government might spend on Lucknow, UP, they will spend 3,000 there. It has been going on for 70 years. I come from an army background. I know so many people who became widows in Kashmir. I feel very strongly about this.
चलिए मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगा, आपने इतनी बड़ी रिसर्च करी है और ये किताब लिखी है मोदी मैजिक, तो what do you think? What is the future? Do you think Narendra Modi will retire once he's 75 years of age and go to MargDarshak Mandal? Or do you think that no, he will not retire, he'll continue till 2029?
You know, it's difficult to say because here's this man who I couldn't do what he's doing even at 35, forget 70.
And he looks so young.
Yeah, he looks young.
He's one old man who looks so young.
Yeah, and he has something that keeps him going because I have heard from his bureaucrats and people that he keeps going while they go home and they come back and they see him still there with another meeting. So a person who works 16 hours a day.
पीके मिश्रा की बात कर रहे थे किताब में आप? किताब में किसकी बात कर रहे थे?
नहीं वो मैं he asked me not to name. हाँ तो कुछ भी हो. So anyway, I want to tell you कि basically कि ये तो मैं कर नहीं सकती. I cannot work 16 hours a day for 10 years. छुट्टी नहीं लिया. Rahul goes off for R&R. Rahul Gandhi. He disappears, has a great time, hardly works. Modi has been at it. Do you think he can carry on?
I think so. I think he can.
Why? What is in him that gives him this energy?
Some people don't want money. Some people don't want.
No, it's not a question of money. Where does the energy come from? Where does that fresh? No, he'll go.
बीच में थोड़े डल हुए थे. मुझे 1 साल का टाइम याद है. कोविड के बाद वाला तो थोड़े डल हुए थे. मुझे लगा था प्रधानमंत्री बीमार हो रहे हैं. बट उसके बाद इधर बीच तो मतलब बंदा ऐसे दिख रहा है कि so much full of energy. क्योंकि मैं I'm somebody who can read people थोड़ा सा, तो लगता है कि प्रधानमंत्री थोड़े से कमजोर पड़े हैं. पर अब जो प्रधानमंत्री आए हैं, अभी जो आजकल भाषण दे रहे हैं, अभी जो उनके अंदर जोश है, अभी तो मुझे लगता है 400 सीटें इज नॉट अ बिग डील. आई थिंक ही इज गोना गेट इट.
He will get it. But whether he'll be able to work at this pace,
I think so. I think he can. If there's one man who can do it, that's him.
then he is not human. He's beyond human. He's got some special powers. That's all I can say. Because actually, just tell me one thing. Think of it physically. Think of it in terms of a biological person. Is it possible to go to 6 different places every day? Or
And he's doing it. Right now, he's doing it.
I know, but is it possible to do it non-stop for 10, 11 years, sleeping 6 hours a night?
तो गुजरात में भी तो कर ही रहे थे वो लगातार.
हाँ,
तो
but
उनकी आदत पड़ गई है.
younger. He was younger. And now, you see, Gujarat mein, it was a state. This, he has to talk. One day he's talking to Putin, the other day he's going to. I mean, it's a totally new ball game.
So let me tell you a small story and hope you will understand.
Yeah.
So this girl in a Korean show, very slim, beautiful girl in a Korean show. She doesn't eat anything, lives on one grain or something.
Yeah, they eat very little.
Very beautiful. So this boyfriend comes and he eats, he's very normal. And she says, खा क्यों नहीं लेते, इतना मन कर रहा है, खा लिया कर. तो उसको लेके जाती है और दिखाती है कि वो बोर्ड देख रहा है सामने. बोलता है हाँ, कह रहा देख किसकी फोटो. बोलता है आपकी फोटो है. तो बोलता है that makes me happy. If I start eating, I will not be on that board. So I don't want because that's there. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जो नरेंद्र मोदी को अब साउथ में उनको अचानक से प्यार मिलने लग गया है. नॉर्थ में तो मिल ही रहा था, साउथ में मिलने लग गया है, साउथ में लोग पसंद करने लग गए हैं. तो आई थिंक ही हैज दिस दैट कीप्स हिम गोइंग बिकॉज he wants to reach.
That's his food.
Exactly.
That's his air. That is the love of the people is really what he.
Yes, exactly. And
But
I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm a critic.
No, but it's true. There is something that revitalizes him. You have said it's actually the kind of positive vibes and love he gets. It's very true. I never thought of it like that. I worry that he'll just get exhausted. But he always surprises me. And I think he surprises a whole lot of other.
He surprises the opposition the most because they think that he's like us only. और उसमें क्या होता है उनके होश उड़ जाते हैं कि because I remember once Sharad Pawar was saying कि ये मोदी वैसे तो बहुत अच्छा इंसान है, चुनाव आते हैं तो इसके शरीर में देवता आ जाता है. तो किसी को नहीं छोड़ता. वैसे मिलेगा तो अरे शरद जी कैसे हो आप, और बताओ कोई काम हो तो मैं कर दूंगा. ये जैसे ही चुनाव आया बोलेगा शरद पवार करप्ट है, ये है वो है.
Everybody does
it. Like, समझ में नहीं आता कि जैसे ही चुनाव आते हैं इनके शरीर में देवता आ जाता है कि बस अब मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं किसी को.
शरद पवार is the man who invented this.
Yeah.
He's been at it for 50 years.
What do you think? What's the future of Indian politics? Like, who's after Modi? Modi नहीं तो कौन?
Right now, you can't. Honestly, I would have to be, a real astrologer or somebody who has psychic powers to tell you who's the opposition, who's the other person who can come up.
Within the BJP. Opposition तो कुछ नहीं है.
Within the BJP?
क्योंकि अभी जो opposition है वो BJP में ही है या तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट opposition में है.
हाँ.
दो ही लोग opposition में मोदी के, या तो within BJP या तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट खुद है.
Hey, within BJP, there are any amount of people. Any amount. I mean, there is no. You see, before Modi came, we said who in BJP are after Attlee? वही तो हुआ था. And BJP has a very, very strong democratic sort of inside working structures. So, they will find somebody because they already have so many superb ministers. But those ministers may not be able to get the kind of, have the kind of charisma, get what Modi can achieve. But do you really think that there is nobody of stature who can go after Modi? I I think there are people there.
Absolutely.
Second, third, and that's the wonderful thing about the BJP. They bring up people in every state. You see in Karnataka, they have this young guy who's very in
In Tamil
every
Nadu, K. Annamalai. But don't you
Annamalai.
think that it's high time that someone from Tamil Nadu becomes the Prime Minister of the country? I personally think that it has to be done now.
It will be. But you see, the thing is that they never were interested in national politics. Nah? They were always, they always thought themselves apart. Remember, I've lived in Tamil Nadu when I was in my 20s. They always thought themselves apart. It was, not only did they think so, but the Congress also promoted that. They also promoted that thing, that they are, different. They were the same as the British who said, "Haan, Dravid," and तो वो चल रहा था, and the Congress didn't disturb that. If you treat a person that, okay, you're really different, you're not part of us, then naturally they'll feel they're not. Why? We have the most fantastic temples in Tamil Nadu. It's a font of Hindu Sanatan Dharma. I mean, the DMK is, maybe they're atheists or commies or whatever, but it's not it's not.
What's the last name Stalin suggests to you? What do you think he might be?
Well, his father. Look, he didn't name himself. Please, Sushil, he didn't name himself. By the way, he's named his son Udyanidhi.
Oh.
देखिए तो फिर स्टालिन का प्रॉब्लम है क्या? He could have changed, but
Joseph.
I don't.
He could have given the name Joseph. Better Joseph.
He didn't. So you see, when you think of something, think of the reverse.
एक और सवाल है मेरे पास. नॉर्थ और साउथ डिवाइड बहुत चल रहा था बीच में. नॉर्थ के लोग जो हैं, आई एम फ्रॉम नॉर्थ, यू आर फ्रॉम नॉर्थ. नॉर्थ के लोग, if K. Annamalai comes to power and becomes a prime minister, I'll be happy.
I won't mind it.
But why South people do not take North people the way we take them? Why they don't react the way we react to them? The people from northern India are more accepting.
No, it is really something that was done through several hundreds of years. It was drilled into them that आप Dravid ho, ye Aryan hai. I mean, this whole divide and rule came from the British. It continued. Now, the same with the Northeast. Look at the Northeast were like another country. Modi has united it.
Modi has united it.
So this is
Modi
what
has really worked in Northeast.
I'm
so
you.
proud of him on that
I'm
matter.
telling you.
Yeah.
What hasn't he thought of or achieved? Just tell me.
अभी सेना टनल, did you see सेला और सेना
yeah.
टनल? Such a beautiful 8 किलोमीटर या 6 किलोमीटर लंबी
This is
टनल
what
बनाई. It
Rahul
connects Tawang
Gandhi.
Pass directly.
Yes.
It connects us to Tawang Pass directly.
I know. I mean, that's where we need to be. This is what Rahul Gandhi signed away in the MOU that we will not build any infrastructure, please, on our borders. So to please the Chinese. What else? I challenge you, if he says that I'm lying, he can show me the MOU.
He'll never show you the MOU.
I know,
It will
but
destroy
I'm
him.
telling you. No, I'm telling you. Do you think I'm right?
I definitely think you're right.
And you said A.K. Anthony said.
He said it in this thing. He said
What?
it in the parliament. He said that, we don't want to develop the infrastructure. Can you play it on YouTube? They said that A.K. Anthony in parliament on China's infrastructure.
No, I've seen this.
So he
I've
says
seen it,
that.
I've seen it.
तो वो कहता है कि इसलिए क्योंकि चाइना को बुरा लगेगा और चाइना भी बनाने लग जाएगा ज्यादा.
नहीं, China तो बना रहा था. He didn't tell you that. China was building all along. That I know, because they had, you see, Tibet at one point, before before Tibet went, we didn't have a border with China. It was Tibet.
It was.
So what happened is that China, when they took over Tibet, they started, infrastructure was being built. So what is he talking about, that they will build infrastructure? Chinese have never stopped building infrastructure.
Do you believe in that theory when Clement Attlee told Jawaharlal Nehru that China will occupy Tibet, and because you and Tibetans are They believe the same kind of religion. They are Buddhist, you guys are Hindus. Why don't you occupy them? Because Dalai Lama will come under you easily. So why don't you do that? Because it is claimed allegedly that Clement Attlee also said that Britain also has an influence in Tibet, and we'll tell them you can occupy them against China. And then Nehru's reply as usual was that China को बुरा लगेगा.
हाँ.
तो चाइना को बुरा लगने के चक्कर में हमने बहुत सारा कुछ खोया
अरे
हुआ
we
है.
lost the seat in the United
तो
Nations.
चाइना के आप अभी राहुल गांधी को क्यों ब्लेम कर रहे हो? वो तो नाना से चालू है.
तो शायद जीन्स डिफेक्टिव है. हम क्या कह सकते हैं? You know, genetically there must be a flaw.
नाना जी से चालू है, तब से ही चालू है. I mean, the blunders made by this guy, they are not mistakes, they are blunders.
Oh yeah. Aksai chin, not a blade of hair, grass grows there.
And then अगर आपको याद हो, उन्होंने कहा था राम मनोहर लोहिया ने कि मेरे सर पे भी नहीं उगते हैं
तो
बाल.
काटना है क्या?
Why don't you give my head to China as well? So
Oh, you know, the thing is that there was definitely a kind of, I don't know what it was, but whether he wanted to be such a great statesman that he saw himself as above it all. And he
do you
said,
think a
"Acha,
statesman means lose your territories? Is that a good thing?
no. Or ratio.
Like Abraham Lincoln
Huh.
I
I said
did.
he thought. he
Yeah,
would.
yeah. Abraham Lincoln did everything to make sure none of his territories are gone.
No, you cannot compare Nehru to Abraham.
But look at it. That's what the Congressies do, right? So let me tell you another example. Abraham Lincoln, this guy, Mao Zedong, and Mohandas Gandhi plus Nehru. Let's consider both of them one entity. तीनों के पास एक ही वो पड़ा था कि देश डिवाइड हो रहा है, उसको रोकना है. Lincoln stopped it. Zedong stopped it.
Yeah.
These two could not.
They happily handed it over.
See,
Huh.
they couldn't. But you can't compare these people with Lincoln.
No. I'm saying he considered himself.
Ah.
Like, you know, I'm going to have the non-aligned movement. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be... So he was so hung up on his own fantasies that he didn't have a foot. I mean, he thought he was very gracious by saying China is an older civilization, so they deserve to get a seat at the UN. I mean, that is really, you know, trying to make yourself very small, but he thought that made him look big. I mean, this is how twisted he was.
नेहरू जी का जो कॉन्वर्सेशन था ना विश्व शांति वाला,
हाँ.
कि विश्व शांति का क्या होगा अगर हमने भी आर्मी रख ली तो. दैट वाज लाइक कि दो लोग झोपड़े में बैठ के लड़ रहे हैं
हाँ.
कि इन दो बड़े जो महान शहर है इनका फैसला हम कैसे करेंगे. कम ऑन डूड. आई मीन, आप गरीब हो, आप भीख मांग रहे हो एज अ कंट्री.
Nehru was not very bright. His father was. Okay? Motilal Nehru was somebody. So Nehru was brought up a little bit like Rahul has been brought up. See, there's not much difference. Think about it.
The Rahul syndrome. Even Rajiv and this guy, Rajiv and क्या है वो दूसरा वाला? Sanjay.
हाँ.
They were also equally bad. None
Yeah,
of them were good politicians.
No,
It's
but
just that we didn't have social media then.
we
ये
all know
दिखाने के लिए
that.
कितने लोकल टाइप के हैं ये लोग.
It's all coming out now. So what I'm trying to tell you is that none of these people had much of anything in them. Not brains, not dedication, not a fierce feeling of pride for India. They didn't even like India. They thought that, you know, Indians...
It's just a place. They were like Mughals of modern
Yeah.
era. So the last question for you is that what do you think about Yogi Adityanath?
I think he's phenomenal. And I think he started his career when he was in his 20s.
25 years he was the member of
Yes,
parliament.
Yes. And I think that yogi, that fairness, is what's getting even Muslims on his side. A lot of them.
I think Muslims are on his side because he's non-compromising, unapologetic,
So,
brutal leader. So
No, not only
Muslims
that.
have always
No.
respected power.
no. Muslims are on his side because, you know, I see I'll talk to a lot of people and they're on his side because they were being treated really badly. And you'd be shocked by their own Ashrafis under SP, Samajwadi Party. Their land was taken away. I mean, there was a lot of injustice done to them because these people wanted to grab land, like people like Azam Khan and all that.
Tariq, what is the name of the guy who was shot dead? Atiq Ahmed.
So there were gundas.
Gundas, yeah.
They are so happy that there are no gundas, and that their girls are not teased when they go to college or when they go to whatever.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
feel
yeah,
safer.
Yeah.
These are two things I've heard,
Okay.
which have really changed a lot of minds. But of course, one can't say to how much. You can never tell with them. But all I'm saying is that on the ground, they are happy that there's some law and order. I mean, people like Atiq Ahmed and all, they kill their own as well as anybody who came in their way. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
be
absolutely.
honest.
Absolutely.
So they like the fact that there is a bit of law and order, that there's not so many dangas, that their businesses don't get,
Burned.
affected.
Okay, all right, Ashali.
ये थी अशाली जी। आपने देखा कि कितना मज़ा आया मुझे इनसे बात करने में, और उम्मीद है आप लोगों को भी ये पसंद आएगा। हमारे वीडियोस पे कमेंट करें, चैनल को लाइक करें और बेल आइकन ज़रूर दबाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।